Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. Quite a promising rack. Is there a bingo here? These tiles all feel fairly synergetic. I've got the men ending. I've got the con beginning. And I'm not seeing a bingo. So should I trash the rack or play a short word? Well, my instinct is to play short. But is that the right thing to do? I can play Cleome for 26, and I am. Great, I have unrights in column 9 and column 6. UW, pretty awful. But in this instance, they do make a bingo with an E. If opponent plays over the top of Cleome, could be blocking both, and maybe I should have played Cleome to the right-hand side of the board, avoiding placing vowels under premium squares, and scoring the same, and also inhibiting 7-letter plays in rows G and I, so that could have been an error. Let's find out. I'm not seeing any other bingos with this rack, but it's fairly balanced. Wow, unrights remains available. Fantastic. Let me not make the same error of playing in the wrong spot. Well, this scores more, so is better. Unrights for 65. Not great at all. Quite a long way from a bingo. How can I sort this out? Unrights has also obstructed the openings I created around the vowels in Cleome. The problem with this rack is that the vowels are non-bingo-y, and I have 3 high-scoring tiles. And I'm also going to struggle to sort out this duplicate N. Wow, 45 points for opponent. Now, Upon is good, which does go quite some way to sorting the rack out. Sort out the duplicates, plays off both vowels, and plays off 2 of the 3 high-scoring tiles. And 37 points, pretty decent. Upon does take an S, but I'm not seeing anywhere else on the board this can play, and certainly not scoring as much as this. I could play Boppy in column 11, but that retains the U. I'm going with this. Well, not great, but I do have an I and an N for Chi and Chin. Wow, great bingo by opponent. And there's this floating U in unrights. I think my priority is to burn the Q. I don't see any big scores elsewhere. Is there anywhere really good for Chi or Chin? Chive doesn't take an N. Not seeing anything around Upon. So what I can do here is play Quill, and providing access to this triple word square is far less dangerous, given that opponent has provided access to the ones in the left-hand column. But only 14 points, and not a great rack leave. But I think this rack leave is worth less than minus 14, i.e. closer to 0, so Quill is better than changing. Just looking again for any Chin spots. V prevents a parallel play. What's the best I can do with the F? Not very much. Something like Find. 24 points, 10 more points, but retaining the Q. I'm going with this. Well, I draw a U. But an unbalanced rack. Through an I would have Disbound. Wow, back-to-back bingos for opponent. And look at that, a double-double, 94 points. And opponent is 80 points in the lead. Well, as with Zep, opponent has provided an easy way for me to sort this rack out. I can play Bound, and I have an S for going on the end, which I'll hold back. So this completely sorts the rack out. Decent rack leave. Open board, which I want since I trail. Is there anything better? Well, a bingo would be better. I saw disbound, no floating eye. Still 2 blanks to come. What about the O? Close to bonus, but I have 2 Ds, so I don't think there are going to be other bingos here. Is bound best? It's pretty good. I'm not seeing anywhere else for it. Up takes an O after it. I would have obtund through a T. I'm going with this. Wow, a ton of vowels. Look at that, I kept DS and I've drawn 5 vowels. Brutal. I can play EAU over the top of quill. And that might be the best I can do. Rack leave pretty good. 17 points, pretty good. Given where I'm starting. What else? Do I have anything through the F? Well, defuse. 36 points. Keeping double A. Well, I still prefer EAU. I trail by 50. 54 points for opponent. That's a nice score. What about a play down from the R? I have Rueda. 21 points. So EAU, 17. Is the D worth 4 points to me? Well, the D is still available as a floater, so is the F. Row A is still available. Let me check the remaining vowels. 17 out of 41, so slightly vowel dry. Not many E's to come. I'm going with Rueda. Wow. Lots of vowels again. And they don't make a bingo with the D. I have no scoring tiles. Rueda has obstructed row M, hooks for chive. Well, I don't think there's any guarantee I would have had a bingo if I did retain the D. D and G don't go well together. So, what can I do with this rack? Very difficult to score. And I trail by 90, so scoring is important. What do I have through the F? That's not a particularly bingo-y floater, so it would be a good place to play. Not seeing anything. Well, opponent hasn't taken that, but look at that, 40 points. He's had F, H, J, K. I have 5 vowels. Surely I have something. Well, I have FAE. 18 points, decent rack leave, bearing in mind the bag is vowel dry, although it's fairly evenly balanced. It would be nice to play off one more vowel, especially an I. A duplicate I would be very non-bingo-y. What about a play through this N? Then I would get value from the Q. So I have gain, 21 points. Only 2 E's to come. But this doesn't feel right, 3 vowels. I can play Ilya, 15 points. I think this is the best rack leave of the moves I've considered. But I'm taking out a bingo lane. I'm not scoring very much, but there are other lanes on the board. No more G's to come. I'm going with this. And I draw only vowels, I think. Wow. So I drew 5 vowels earlier after bound, keeping DS, and I've drawn 5 more vowels. Well, that's the way it goes. And I have no scoring tiles. What do I have through the F this turn? I have Figo. Keeping AEES. Let me check the remaining vowels again. 10 out of 31. There aren't that many vowels left. It's become more consonant heavy. I'm quite glad I played Rueda now. These are 3 very useful floaters. But I trail by 120, so I'm not in good shape. I've still got an I for QI. What do I have in row C? Not seeing anything. Anything better than Figo? Wow, another bingo for opponents, and I hadn't realised there's still 2 blanks to come. Well, opponents just played off one of them. So, what can I do? I may be able to get more value from the F now. So, Faye for 29, decent score. An okay rack leave, given that the bag is vowel dry. But I am now taking out column 1 as a bingo lane. But look at this, I trail by 200. Even with 17 tiles left, I think this is a lost game. Ah, well, faux in this spot would be better. This is a much better rack leave with the A rather than an O. I'm going with this. And I draw only vowels. Okay. Well, not terribly much I can do about that. No bingo here. There are 5 vowel, 8 letter bingos, but I'm not seeing one with this rack. Ah, through an N, I would have agonesia, but the N of bound, just unavailable. 12 tiles to come, including a blank. Opponent scores reasonably well, takes out all of the useful floaters from Rueda. So even now, if I do balance the rack and have a bingo, it may well not play. So what am I going to do with this rack? These are the final 2 E's, so I don't have to play off both of them. Or indeed either of them. 4 vowels out of 19 tiles. Let's see if I can pick them. So I could play age. AEIS, not bad. Goes well with N. And goes well with a vowel dry bag. But N is the only floater, and it's in a very precise position, and it provides access to a triple word square. So really this board is pretty dead for me. Only 17 points. Can I do better? Can I get value from Axe? So M only takes an E of the tiles I've got, barring the S. Not seeing anything down there. And DI does have potential for a 9-letter play. Now I've still got an I for QI. Not seeing anything. I'm coming back to playing age for 17. And, well, I do finally draw a consonant, but a couple of vowels to go along with it. Just 2 O's left now in terms of vowels, so surely opponent's bingo run will end. Nice play, doesn't score very much, but takes out 2 bingo floaters. 5 tiles in the bag. Very little to fish for since there are no bingo lanes on the board. I guess I don't want to empty the bag. And I'd like to score. So I could play R for 12. And I think I will. But let me play it somewhere more sensible. R for 20. Yeah. And I have a bingo-y rack, but is there anywhere for me to play? Floating Eye of Ilia. Can't see anything there. And where are the other floaters? K only takes an O. I think it's just these 2-letter sets down the bottom. So is Remediat's good? It may be. And if so, it plays. Remediat is good. It's just a matter of whether it takes an S. What about DI? Not seeing anything there. How about AX? No, not seeing anything. So, any other lanes? Quill takes an S in front. That's not a bingo lane, but I may be able to simply score in that spot. Just 3 tiles in the bag. Only 6 tiles or squares available in row L at the right-hand side. And opponent leading by 170. 13 minutes on opponent's clock, 9 on mine. So will opponent take out these 2-letter sets? If he's got an O, he may be tempted by the OB spot. And do I really have nothing through this I? Well, I feel that even if I did, it probably wouldn't play. Well, irisated. Yeah, that doesn't play. Opponent plays dirt for 7. Nice play. He has blocked Remediats. Diameters is the anagram, and that doesn't work. Can't see any long extensions of dirt. Axe also has been taken out. So opponent has well and truly shut the door in my face. 1 tile in the bag. So what to do here? Well, I guess I'm looking to go out in 2. So what do I have in this spot? Is there a way of playing the D? I have stayed, keeping EIR. I think that provides a reasonable prospect of going out in 2, and 27 points is a decent score. I'm going with this. Okay, so I have ISA in rows M and O. And I have Rice in column 14, so I am going out. And I don't think opponent is bingoing with what he's got. And I smash through the 300 mark. So where's the best spot? Rice, 16, 14 for ISA, less playing below. I don't have a vowel for going in front of B. Okay, so 29 for opponent. I don't have anything through the G. So, and do I have anything onto the N? No, I don't think so. I'm going with this. And the final score, 321 for me, 479 for my opponent, a winning margin of 158 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, a thorough drubbing. Dream game for me, says opponent, indeed. Now, it was me to go first. Phew, no miss bingo here, but Ceylon probably better than Cleome, because it preserves the E, but very little between those plays. However, the right-hand placement, probably a better play. Opponent plays chive, and I get off to a great start. I have a bingo, and I take the lead. Opponent plays zap. And what do I do here? I play Yupon, keeping BN. Other moves score one more point and keep one vowel, one consonant. So I think very little between those plays. Great bingo by opponent from an unpromising rack. Now I play Quill for 14. All of the plays scoring more. Retain the Q, which is worth about -8 or 9 points. And I still like my play. If you're retaining the Q, you're not bingoing. Now, great rack for opponent. These are 7 random tiles after fleeting, and he has a back-to-back double bingo, so opponent now shoots into the lead. My rack, no bingo here. A15 bounds and Yupons for 41. I preserve the S and score 11 fewer points, and I like my play. The S is worth 8 to 10, so not much between those plays. Opponent plays jacks, and now my vowel orgy begins with this horror show. And I play Rueda for 21. Yeah, and not only am I sorting the vowels out, but I'm trying to retain a decent rack lead, which AES is. And as you work up and score more points, you can see how the rack lead deteriorates. Opponent's rack plays faux. And now I have 6 vowels. Nothing more than 23 on offer. C2 again, that's quite nice. What do? I play Ilya for 15. Keeping what? Keeping Sage. Yeah. Quillia, that's nice. For 19. I think Ilya is fine. The rack lead is good. Now, great rack for opponent. Has the blank, plays Invalids. And goes into a 180-point lead. This is my 3rd rack on the trot with 5 vowels. And I play faux for 29, and I like that. Opponent with the 2nd blank plays mix. Now, what do here? I play age for 17, but AE, I8. This is where I played AE later. That would have been a better play. Scores slightly more, 3 more points, and it preserves a consonant, so that would have been better. Opponent with no vowels plays brown. So no vowels, but uses the floating vowel to take out a bingo lane. So that was a good play. Another rack with 5 vowels for me, and I play double A, which I like. Opponent plays dirt, which was a great play, taking out my bingo. And there is no bingo. M1. I raids and chived for 29, and I play stayed for 27, which is fine, I think. Opponent plays goody, and finally I play rice for 16, and that was all that was available. So, what a game. An absolute thrashing from my opponent, but these sorts of games do come around fairly regularly with the random distribution of tiles and good play by opponent. So many congratulations to my opponent on his victory. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.